One channel, different shows, everything entertaining. Make a Path presents Let's Talk. Alright, Deadheads, you ask, I answer. Let's talk. The Walking Dead Q&A 7. Joseph Clark, which sparked your interest first, the comic book or the TV show? Have you read all the issues of the Walking Dead comic? Yes, I am caught up to date. I buy the single issues, I get them on day one. I love the comic. I first got introduced to the Walking Dead through the TV show. A few years ago I was working on my story, which was called Dead Patriots. It was a zombie film. My best friend lived across the street. We lived in this little alleyway, and he ran across the street one day. He was going shopping with the family, and he pops in the door and he's like, "Yo, Hayes, you need to see this show." Because I missed a premiere night, you know, and I caught it on the rerun, and I immediately fell in love with it. Immediately. After the first episode, I remember running over on a commercial break and being like, dude, that's it. This thing is going to be bigger. And this is funny. I ran across the street. I watched the first episode. I didn't even know there was a comic book back then. And it already had a fan base. I run across the street and I said, Larry, that shit, that's going to be our generation's Star Wars. That's going to be our generation's phenomenon. And I know a lot of people get that confused. I just mean that was the talk of the town. But anyway, that was what I said, and he told me I was crazy. He said, you're batshit crazy. But look at it today, you know. That was only because I was a freak fan of zombies, you know, and I never found a movie or show about zombies that I thought was amazing until I seen The Walking Dead. Christian Talentio. The Last of Us question was from The Walking Dead comics. I had this cool thought in my head that Joel met Rick and it would be set before Joel met Ellie. Joel says in the game he did some questionable things because of the outbreak. Maybe he would have encountered Rick on the way. Just a little thought, laugh out loud, don't have to make a video on it. Well, I'll throw it in this Q&A. No, absolutely not. It would be an awesome idea. I love both of the characters. I love both of their stories. However, just what I was saying before, we have so little awesome zombie shit. Movies, shows, games, there's so few of them. I don't want to combine them. Leave them separate. This way we have two. You know what I'm saying? And I truly believe that they dropped the ball with The Last of Us. The Last of Us, you could have kept going in a comic book series. They're doing it into a movie. I have no hopes for the movie whatsoever. Hollywood screws up video game movies. Do you know why? Because Hollywood sees money. They don't see a great story. You know, and even though The Last of Us has a very great story from beginning to end, I absolutely love it. Hollywood doesn't think like that. This is how they think. Okay, guys, listen, this is what sells, okay? We need bitches, we need badassery, we need romance, we need love, oh, young love. Let's do some Twilight with some sexy bitch in a red dress. We'll have her run up on a wall, jump, kick some Jackie Chan shit, because, you know, martial arts sells. Kick a dog in the face, because that makes sense. And then, what shall we do? Oh, there has to be a love story in there somewhere. Okay, get rid of Joel, let's bring in the cute young guy. I don't know. Hollywood, you're retarded. Christian Banda. When do you think we will ever see an episode where it's winter? I don't think we will ever, hopefully in the companion series, but I would love that. I'm dying for Winter Zombie. Torm Ray. I think I erased part of your name, but Torm Ray. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you tell us who dies in Season 5 or predict who dies by the comics? No, you cannot. I mean, you can make an argument that you can, but I say no. Right now, by the comics, I believe once you get closer to Alexandria and we start utilizing more and more from the comics, it'll make it a little guessable, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep throwing twists in there. Infinitify. Do you think Negan will be introduced in Season 5? No, I do not. It is way too soon. Story-wise, they'll have to skip, what, like 40-some single issues of the comics? That's a whole lot of story to just throw out. Because once you introduce Negan, everything changes. 1877 WF. Do you think that Rick and his group can be considered crazy by medical standards? I mean, today, yeah, it doesn't take much. I mean, over-medicate kids. Everyone's got a social disorder. So, yeah, sure. Especially after the church. Henry Dyer. What will happen now to Negan? I believe you mean in the comic books. I think Negan's gonna rot in jail. I mean, for probably a majority of it. If he doesn't, I think it would be absolutely awesome. This is just me. I want Negan to die with Lucille. So me, I'll just keep this real quick. I think I talked about it before, but me, the perfect ending for Negan would be, let's say somehow something happens, they go under attack with this new group, the Whisperers. Let's say Negan is freed from prison, he goes on the run, He wants to go back to the Saviors, but here is where everyone will think that he regroups, starts an army, goes after Rick, and we have all-out war 2. I don't want to see that. That's, you know, you should have just killed him off in the first place if that was going to happen. I want to see Negan go to the Saviors and maybe even be captured. Maybe Dwight tries to kill him. I mean, I want these people to turn on him, and I want you to feel bad for Negan. Maybe Negan, he gets tortured. Maybe he gets his face burnt as well, like Dwight did. And then I want him to be thrown out into the wild alone. Maybe he runs and flees for his life, and he's out in the wild. He has to survive, and at first, you know, he's enraged. After a while, it breaks him down, and the other communities form like a search party. I don't know how they'll do that if they're fighting the Whispers, but they hunt Negan down. They're on his trail. You know, he gets hurt. Maybe he takes a bad fall, busts his knee, gets wounded. I mean, all this shit, bad shit happens to Negan, and we just beat on Negan until finally the audience, even though after all he's done, they're like, I feel bad for this guy. Just give him a fucking break. And that's when he finally gets cornered. Dwight hands off the bat to Maggie, and she gets to beat him to death with Lucille. I mean, damn, that ending. If that happened just the way I said it, I mean, that ending, she beats him to death with Lucille, even though I just said it now and predicted it now, that would be the most rewarding ending for me. I know, that would be so awesome. William Tibbetts. What is your favorite storyline from the comics that you can't wait to be seen adapted to the TV show? Also, do you think Negan or Rick will die in All Out War when it comes to TV? My favorite storyline is the new one now. It starts in, I believe, 131 to 132 and 133. That's like the beginning of it. Amazing. And it's the storyline for the Whispers. I don't want to give any spoiler details. That I cannot wait. If a magical genie appeared and gave me the choice between winning the lottery and being on the creative team to bringing and adapting the story of the Whispers from the comic book onto this TV screen, I would choose that over the lottery any day of the week. I mean, that would be an absolute dream come true. I'd probably have a heart attack thinking about it. If they were like, hey, this is gonna happen, my shit would shut down. Clear. Alright, Chad Jacques. What would you do if the person Daryl brings out is the lady cop? Michonne asks her name and she says something like Janet, but everyone calls me Negan. Well, I would throw my remote control at the TV and I would tweet out just one warning to Robert Kirkman. Run. Will read. I will read your question. What would you think if they did a series that told the stories of people that were on The Walking Dead but didn't learn much about them, like Randall, Dave, and Tony, because I felt like they didn't get as much out of Randall as they could have. Yeah, if they did a series, I say webisodes. I think you have a big enough fan base to actually build a following on the webisodes, and I truly believe that you're going to get enough money off advertising from the YouTube videos, and I believe you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? You will get millions of views, but you have to advertise it. If someone's watching The Walking Dead and they're willing to watch that Talking Dead, you know they will watch anything that has to do with The Walking Dead whatsoever. So have Chris Hardwick tell the people, hey, we got webisodes about this, show a preview, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't even know the webisodes are out there. Where's the marketing team on that? Where was the strategy in that, you know? Padrig Casey? I definitely said that wrong. Please correct me in the comments. Where are all the kid walkers? All we see are adults. And speaking of kids, how come in season 1, episode 1, at the very start, we saw the little girl picking up a teddy bear? Do you think the walkers have some memories? No, I do not. There was a different showrunner for season 1. I believe they just had a different idea what the zombies would do, especially since they first started to reanimate. They were touching door handles. They were using rocks. They were a little bit more functioning, put it that way. And then we finally got on to showrunners that wanted them to be just, they only had enough brains to grab you, to eat you. They couldn't put any complex thought into taking this rock smashes that window. You know what I mean? I think they just kind of got rid of that complex thought. Me personally, I feel like they want us to know as fans that that was on purpose, and that's because they were fresh zombies, but I feel like that was just simply different opinions creatively, and we got stuck with some inconsistencies between then and now. That's it. But it's a good enough show to overlook those little bit of inconsistencies. And if you need an excuse for them, there it is. They were freshly turned. Art Feelwell. Do you think the show will ever give us a winter episode or 2? I just answered that. No, but I hope so. But I hope the companion series does. Nicholas09. Do you think that the survivors would have gone looking for Beth if Daryl and Carol never saw the car with the cross? even though they wouldn't know where to begin. Seems like Daryl only cares at this point. That's a hard one to answer because they wrote the episodes knowing what would happen. And let's say Beth does die for whatever reason. To the writers, and I agree, it really doesn't make much sense to keep having her say, I need to look for Beth, I need to look for Beth. The writers didn't have Beth wake up and say, you know what, I don't give a fuck what you guys did. My undercarriage was tampered with, you know what I'm saying? So I know you got payment on the way to bringing me here. That's good enough. I am out of here. Just give me some clothes. You can have this gown back. Here, take the cast. You know what I mean? I am gone. Your shit. She woke up and they were like, oh, there was no guy with you. You're safe here. And she went right to work for them. She's not asking about Daryl or Maggie. And Maggie's not asking about her. And I really don't think that's a character flaw. I think that this is just the world we're in. If somebody today gets kidnapped, what do? You call the cops and you sit home crying because you don't know where to begin to look. Imagine if the world was shut down and somebody got kidnapped. If my cousin was walking outside and got kidnapped right now, where do I go? The last place he was? To this parking lot. What evidence am I gonna get? You know what I'm saying? What can I find out there? Then where do I go? 100 feet in this direction? They could be next door. And I'm gonna go all the way around everywhere when in reality, he was taken to a house next door to me. Crazy. You want to see how crazy it is finding somebody? Go to an open field. Take a penny, right? Close your eyes, spin around a little bit, whip the penny in any direction, spin around some more, keep your eyes closed, open your eyes, go looking for that penny. That is how impossible it is to go look for Beth right now. But to answer your question, I do believe that Daryl or Beth, if they didn't see the white car, somebody would have been like, you know what, we should go comb the area a little bit. I mean, there's like a slim chance you'll find her, but they probably would look for her. Alright guys, we're going to break it here, but don't worry, we got a lot more questions coming. If you want to add a question for the upcoming Q&As, just leave it down below in the links or on the Matt Facebook page. Alright Deadheads, if you enjoyed this video, show some love and hit that like button. Subscribe now.